Welcome, everybody. This is That Exciting Dude with stories, lies, and shenanigans. Yes, the place where I tell stories, maybe a lie, maybe we're just gonna BS talk. Lots to talk about. I'll tell you how much we have to talk about. So much that I'm eating my dinner. So if you hear a crunch, a munch, and a dunch, it's probably just me eating. So bear with. A lot going on today. So, like I said, and I'm also going to talk with food in my mouth, so you're going to have to learn to, I'm going to try to speak clearer with the food inside my mouth. So, without further ado, like I said, this is That Exciting Dude, and lots to talk about. First, we're going to get sports out of the way. I said I was going to dab in some sports. This is what we're doing. I'm first going to lay the ground rules of sports. And here's the first rule that I'm going to tell you when I'm done chewing this rice. Actually, we're going to keep talking. I lie. So, we're in preseason for the NFL. And if you're like me, you're a Detroit Lions fan. And everyone's like, oh, they lost in preseason. I guess they're the same old Lions. For those that don't know the history of the Lions, they're known to be kind of a losing team. Well, I'm here to tell you people. All of you naysayers, all of you non-likers, apparently you don't know your football and know how preseason works. So let me quickly enlighten you. The way preseason works is there's like 70 people on the roster fighting for a job. That's why most of the preseason is played by your second and third stringers, because they are fighting for a spot on the 52-man roster. This is also why a lot of the plays are junk plays. It's not to say that they won't use these plays in a game, but it's typically not on their go-to list of plays. Yes, a couple teams play their hot stars. A couple teams, do play the good players. But it's only like one or two runs. So what's the conclusion? The conclusion is this. Can you really base a team off of its preseason? Some people, their opinions will be yes. Some might agree with me. Because there's been years where the Lions have annihilated everybody in the preseason. And then they went 0-16 that year. You remember that year? I think it was 2008. Look it up. Look the facts up. Alright, enough about sports. Now we're going to talk about what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. It's been busy the past few days. Very busy the past few days. So busy that... What are we talking about? No. It's been busy since the last podcast. I think they did the last podcast late, too. So, let's see. Since the last podcast... I think I did it last week, Friday. I don't remember. Regardless, since the last podcast, I've had a few more doctor visits. No, one more. I say a few more, but it felt like a few more. I'll tell you why it feels like a few more. So I finally went to my primary care doctor, dealt with the idiots there, the idiot nurses. Everything was going great in the room. Got the questionnaires going, just about to leave. And the PA was like, hey, have you ever had a EKG? Or as I like to say, an EKG QRST done to you? And I'm like, no. So, the nurse comes in, starts hooking up all the probes to the spots on my body. She's like, I'm going to try to get this work without shaving your chest hair. And I'm just like, you gotta do what you gotta do. I ain't going to the beach anytime soon. So she tried She had it hooked up, couldn't get it working. Moved a few things around, couldn't get it working. Called in nurse number 2. She's looking at it. Meanwhile, I am on my back laying on this table that's not comfortable at all. You know, the one that they put maybe 2 millimeters of foam on the padding. So it's like, hey, here you go. So I'm laying down. They're poking and prodding, pulling tabs off of me, putting them back on. I seriously feel like I was Neo in the Matrix. You know, like he's got all those up his spine, all when he gets released from the pod. I'm feeling like this as they're pulling them and putting them back on, pulling them, putting them back on. Finally, we get to the chest, and second nurse is like, "Yeah, let's just go ahead and we gotta shave these 2 spots off so that we can stick these." You know, and I'm like, "Okay." So they get their single blade shaver out, dry shave me. Which I was like, "Oh, this is going to be horrible." And I'm like, really, it wasn't that bad at all. And so they stick them on, they hook the machine back up, press whatever they press play, start, enter, whatever it is in the program for the EKG QRST. And nothing's happening again. Okay, so let's call nurse number 3 in. Okay, nurse number 3 comes in. I don't know what they did. I think they restarted the computer or they restarted the EKG machine. It's like this portable machine or whatever. Nonetheless, they got it working. So, I heard the nurse say, "Oh, we gotta print this out. Oh, this is something." And she leads me out. She's like, "Yeah, you can just go out this door." And I'm like, "Well, did you see anything? What was on the scan?" She's like, "Oh, nothing. We'll give you a call." Nothing, but I'll give you a call. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Meanwhile, I'm just in the mind frame of, I gotta go get blood work. I want to quickly get in line at this other place, which I don't know why. I thought it was a different facility than what I was really thinking it was. So I quickly go down the road. Less than a mile away. Again, I keep forgetting there's a back, which is the blood section, and there's the normal front, which is, I don't know what the front does. I think it's an urgent care place. So, sounds good. Alright, let's get a message from a buddy. Sorry about that. So, I go, wait in blood, get in line or whatever. I mean, it was longer to get registered into this place than, I walked back there and they opened the door. Alright, we're ready to get your blood. So I'm getting my blood work. Since I'm diabetic, I get my A1C so I can get that squared away. I know it's high. Which, it was. I got the results. A little higher than what I thought it was. I know I've been cheating. Well, I don't want to say cheating. I think that's the wrong word. I know I haven't been eating the greatest non-diabetically foods. I know my bread intake has been way up there. Because at work, we've got sandwiches. Oh my god, that's another story. Anyhow, so back to Focus Dead. So, we're back to getting the blood drawn. Good go, boom. So I'm like, okay, I got surgery coming up this Friday. This is Monday now. 2 days ago. 3 days ago. 2 days ago. So I'm like, alright, I'll go to Walmart, see if I can get some fake Crocs, called Flocks or something like that. Something to easy slip on and slip off for the hospital. Because I think tying shoes up, won't exactly feel great. So I'm in Walmart. I get 3 phone calls from the surgery place, the doctors that are conducting the surgery, and then my primary care medical. They all called at the same exact time. So here I am, in Walmart. I'm like, okay, great, let's take care of this. So I call one of them back. They're like, oh yeah, you get a... Now the reason why I was at the primary care doctor, I don't think I said this, was to get cleared for my surgery. I was like a pre-medical exam for surgery. So, answer the one, they're like, oh, we saw something on your EKG QRST lines, and, we're referring you to a cardiologist. So, I think I called the doctors in Chicago first. I'm like, okay, I'll work on it. I'm like, 2 other people called besides you, and you all called at the same time. They kind of thought it was funny. So I was like, okay, let me hang up. I'll see what's going on. Called the surgery place, told them the same story. Same crap. I said, okay, let's know what's going on. Okay. So then I call the primary care. They're like, yeah, we saw something on line 4 that didn't exactly tickle us right, so, we want to refer you to a cardiologist. Now, mind you, my surgery is Friday. Friday morning, to be exact. So it's not like it's Friday evening. It's Friday morning. So, I asked them, well, what's the wait time to get into a cardiologist? Well, we referred you to the cardiologist. I'm like, okay, that doesn't answer the question that I am asking. I am asking you, what is the wait time for a cardiologist in the Grand Rapids area? And they couldn't give me a time frame. They just said, all I know is we put it in urgent. That's all we can do. Okay, fine, whatever. So I get off the phone, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, they're in the Spectrum network. So guess what I did? Sorry, I had a little burp. Hopefully not too much came through the mic. So what I did is I looked up Spectrum Cardiology. Called the cardiologist myself. In the meantime, I'm texting a few people, and they could tell me what the wait time is in their areas that they live for a cardiologist. One saying a month, the other saying 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm like, but no one can say to me it's this or that, or a long time, not a long time. So yeah, I'm frustrated at this point. Let me get some background music going here. So, I'm on the phone with the cardiologist. I call him, like, yeah, name is so-and-so, supposedly I've been referred. And just wanted to see what information you could give me on what the wait time is for a cardiologist in the Grand Rapids area. Thinking, go to the source. Go to the source. And this poor girl, I really put her through the ringers, but she couldn't tell me nothing as far as the wait time. So I finally started asking questions like, do you think this is gonna work? Think I should cancel the surgery? Like, are we gonna get this in time? All she could tell me is that it was in urgent. It was like, boom, squared off, urgent for the doctor. So, again, this is Monday. By this time, it's probably almost dinner time. I think I was on the way home. I can't remember. And, so, again, couldn't tell me nothing. So, here I am in the blink. So, wake up the next morning. Last time I was too late to call the other places to tell them, like, yeah, all I can tell you is that it's in urgent. So it's going to be a very down to the wire thing. Taking in more food. So, next day comes, I tell people I work with, hey, if I get this call from a cardiologist, I have to take it. And then I've got to call everyone else to let them know what's going on. So, looking at my phone, I Let's see here. Okay, so that's one. Okay. So I'm waiting. 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Finally, at 11:57, I see Spectrum Health across my phone, and I'm like, ooh. And of course, I'm eating, so I'm like, oh crap. So I jump up, quickly walk in this back little corner of our place that I work, and so I answer the phone, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this and do that. But, we're going to schedule a time. And I'm like, yeah, what's the quickest time? She's like, well, do you want downtown or the outskirts? And I'm like, whichever one's going to give me the quickest time. So, long story short, tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, I finally have a meeting with a cardiologist that hopefully will clear me. Because, again, I'm still not out of the dust. And here's another part, through this whole thing and calling these people in Chicago several times, their communication sucks. Because one thing that I just realized today on the way home, and they don't answer phone calls the last hour and a half of the day. It goes to like a call person, and they don't do any RX stuff. Because I just realized tomorrow, because I'm supposed to have a colonoscopy, I need the shit for the colonoscopy tomorrow. So yeah. So if I don't get these suppositories, capsule thingies that clean me out, I'm probably just gonna have to be like, hey, looks like the colonoscopy's not happening. There's an urgent message in, so we'll see if the on-call doctor calls me. Nothing yet. Nothing yet at all. I think it's sent via text. Not positive. But, oh yeah. It's been crazy. I'm still not done with. Like I said, I still got tomorrow. I still have the stress of waiting for tomorrow to see if this is all cleared up. Yeah. Crazy stuff. But keeping my fingers crossed that it's nothing huge with whatever line number 4 was on the EKG QRST. So, yep, gonna go see the experts tomorrow morning. Then hopefully by 12:30, between 12 and 1, heading up to Chicago. Because I have to go. So, that's what the hope is. That's where I'm planning, obviously, for. But, hopefully, that's what's at stake. I mean, that's all I can hope for. It's everything to keep going in my lucky ways. I think you'd call it lucky. Oh, that was the other thing. When I finally took that call from the cardiologist, registration, scheduling, first thing she said is, you got in here very quick, you're very lucky. So I imagine our area is probably like a 1 to 2 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks. But you know what? I don't care. I got in. That's all that matters. Gonna go knock that out tomorrow. Hopefully pick up my prescription by that time. The prescription's not the end of the world. The reason why is because there's CVS's in Myers and places that I could get it on the way to Chicago from um, from West Michigan. So it's not like a end of the world. I mean, it's still nerve-wracking because I need it. But if I don't get it, then it's like, no poop shoot for you, doctor. It's closed. No suppositories were made. But, again, we'll see if that happens. Right now, my main concern is getting this hernia surgery out of the way. Then we'll worry about the subscription. Yeah, the subscription for the prescription of the suppositories that I need. As you can tell, my mind is all over the place, even just talking about it. So, we will see what happens. Want to hear something dumb? I'll tell you something dumb. How was your day today? Because I could totally hear you. Water, water, water. Moving on. I don't know about you guys, but this California humidity weather day is atrocious. I mean, I went down to Florida like 2 years ago. When was this? I gotta be a little correct here in my time here. Actually, yeah. It was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, like middle of July. Went down there for a day to do a bunch of photography and then come back up the same day. I remember the lady that I was next to, gorgeous. And she was like, so what's your plans for going to Florida? Because it was a direct flight from Grand Rapids down to, well, actually Sanford, Florida. The Orlando area, if anyone knows that area. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got my camera right here and an extra pair of boxers in case shit happens, literally. And yeah, going down to take a bunch of pictures and then heading back up here to the airport to head back to Grand Rapids tonight. And it was kind of funny listening to her because, or not listening, she kind of had this big pause, and then I was like, I see why. Some light color hair on her. She was a blonde. And then it clicked with her, like, oh, wow, you're going out in one day and coming back? And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. You put the check marks together. So, yeah, I went down in the morning. I left, at a 6 a.m. flight. Got down to Florida by 8:30. 9 o'clock, I was in the car. In my car that I rented. That was twice as much as the airplane ride. That was the whole ordeal why I went down there, because this airfare was only $68 for a round trip for the one day, which I was like, you can't beat that. It was through Allegiant Air. So I went down there for the day, took a bunch of photography, went to Gatorland in Florida. The best place to go to if you don't want to spend those ugly fees at Disney World. And then, let's see, I was done at Gatorland at about 1:30, because it took a good hour, because I went to another nature place that was actually in Sanford, so I was close to the airport, which that place actually sucked. Actually, I ate lunch on the way to that place, so it took about a good hour and a half to get there. I think my flight took off at 7:30, but I just wanted to get back about 5:30, 6 o'clock, with the rental. I remember I was in the airport for a good, probably much longer than what I could have been, but I've never been to this airport before, so I was definitely being safe and cautious. Because the last thing you want to do is spend the night in an airport. Because I've done that before. And I'm not saying I had issues sleeping, but it's just... And that was LAX that I did that in. It was LAX. But I had a buddy with me. We kind of took turns watching each other. But long story short, back to the Orlando thing. So, I was there with well time. I remember I was sitting in front of this gate that was on my phone. I was like, okay, it's at this gate, this gate, this gate. And finally I noticed, I'm like, I'm the only one sitting here. This is called a clue. I'm not at the right gate. So let's look up the gate. So I go up to the board, I'm looking, boom, Grand Rapids. Oh, they moved me way down over here. Luckily, it's not like a huge airport. So it's just a little trick-trot and dipper over to this gate. Then I was like, oh, there's lots of people. Now I feel much better. I mean, I still had like 40 minutes before boarding. Half hour, something like that. But it was still just the fact that they switched it. I was like, oh, hey, I'm glad I was paying attention. Because I could have been off in La La Land. I was about to be off in La La Land because I had my earbuds with me to listen to music. So, yeah. I get back. Get in my car, pay the $12 lot fee. I was home by like 11:30 at night. It was just a nice, big, long day of fun. So, yeah. Alright, so what did we cover in this? Let's see. We covered a little sports action, how preseason works in the NFL. We covered the latest of the surgery for me. Then I told you a Florida story, a little Florida trip. I would say you could look at my pictures, but this is a podcast. This is a podcast. So you can't see it. See, look at this picture of a gator right here. Oh, you can't see it. But you're imagining a gator, because I told you, look at this gator. Do you see the gator? I'm just messing with you. Alright, like I said, this is That Exciting Dude. Looks like we're about 27 minutes in, almost 28. I think we're at a good stopping point. I covered a few areas, had a few fun laughs. So, yeah, I can't think of anything as I'm chomping away here at my food. Can't think of really anything to talk about. So, I think we're just going to call it. Yeah, that ended too, so I think we're just going to call it. Alright, everybody, so I know the podcast can't always be super exciting and extraordinaire and lightning bolts in action. But because I do upload this to YouTube as well, I do have to say the usual YouTube stuff, comment below, hit the like button. Smash the like button if you like it, let me know, comment below, all that good stuff. Then Spotify, I don't think there's a like or anything like that. It's just keep following me. But for those that do listen, thanks for the support. And I'll see you next week. We're going to hear about the recovery and what went on with the cardiologist. So when we come back, hopefully it's a cardiologist and a go for surgery. And then we'll talk about the lovely pain that I'll most likely be in. Alright, this is That Exciting Dude. And this is Story, Lies, and Shenanigans. Out.